Hi, so here we are to discuss book 9, 16, and 18 of the Iliad. So, the Iliad book 9, after the reversal of fortune for both sides and the intervention of gods in the previous books, in book 9, Nestor suggests reconciliation with Achilles. Seeing the wisdom of this idea, Agamemnon decided to offer Achilles a great number of gifts on the condition that he returns to battle. The king selects some of the Achaeans' best men, Odysseus, great Ajax, and Phoenix, to communicate the proposal to Achilles. The embassy finds Achilles playing the lyre in his tent with his dear friend Patroclus. Pay attention, this relationship will influence very much next books. Odysseus presents Agamemnon's offers, but Achilles rejects it. He announces that he intends to return to his homeland, where he can live a long, prosaic life instead of the short, glorious one that he is fated to live if he stays. So, in lines 307 to 429, we have concentrated this message. Cattle and fat sheep can all be had for the raiding, tripods all for the trading, and Tony hated stallions, but a man's life breath cannot come back again. Mother tells me, the immortal goddess Tethys, with her glistening feet, that two fates bear me onto the day of death. If I hold out here and I lay siege to Troy, my journey home is gone, but my glory never dies. If I voyage back to the fatherland I love, my pride, my glory dies. So with these words, Achilles rejects the embassy of Achaean commanders come to win him back to the war. Achilles offers to take Phoenix with him, but Phoenix launches into his own lengthy emotional plea for Achilles to stay. He uses the ancient story of Meleager, another warrior who, in an episode of rage, refused to fight, to illustrate the importance of responding to the pleas of helpless friends. But Achilles stands firm, still feeling the sting of Agamemnon's insult. The embassy so returns unsuccessful, and the army again sinks into disrepair. So, this is the end of book 9. Let's approach to book 16. At the end of book 11, Nestor tells Patroclus about all the wounds that the Trojans have inflicted upon the Achaean commanders. He begs Patroclus to persuade Achilles to rejoin the battle, or at least enter the battle himself, disguised in Achilles' armor. So this is crucial. This ruse would at least give the Achaeans the benefit of Achilles' terrifying aura. So Patroclus agrees to appeal to Achilles. Then, at the end of book 15, so immediately before the beginning of book 16, the armies fight all the way to the ships, to the Greek ships, and very nearly into the Greek camp. At the base of the ships, furious hand-to-hand fighting breaks out. Great Ajax and Hector again tangle. The archer Theodore felled several Trojans, but Zeus takes aim to Hector. Ajax encouraged his troops from the decks of the ships, but Hector rallies the Trojans, and inch by inch the Trojans advance until Hector is close enough to touch a ship. Meanwhile, Patroclus goes to Achilles' tent and begs to be allowed to wear Achilles' armor, if Achilles still refused to rejoin the battle himself. So Achilles declines to fight, but agrees to exchange of armor, with the understanding that Patroclus will fight only long enough to save the ships. As Patroclus arms himself, the first ship goes up in flames. Achilles sent his Myrmidon soldiers, who had not been fighting during their command absence, out to accompany Patroclus. Achilles then prays to Zeus that Patroclus may return with both himself and the ships unharmed. The poet reveals, however, that Zeus will grant only one of these prayers. And here we understand the future. With the appearance of Patroclus in Achilles' armor, the battle quickly turns, and the Trojans retreat from the Achaean ships. Patroclus now slaughters every Trojan he encounters. Zeus now considers saving his son Sarpedon, but Hera persuades him that the other gods would either look down upon him for it or try to save their own mortal offsprings in turn. Zeus resigns himself to Sarpedon's mortality. Patroclus soon spears Sarpedon. So Zeus decides to kill Patroclus for slaying Sarpedon, but first he lets him rout the Trojans. Zeus then imbues Hector with the temporary cowardice, and Hector leads the retreat. Patroclus, disobeying Achilles, pursues the Trojans all the way to the gates of Troy. Homer explains that the city might have fallen at this moment had Apollo not intervened and driven Patroclus back from the gates. So you see how important is the intervention of the god in the destiny. Apollo persuades Hector to charge Patroclus, but Patroclus kills Gebriones, the driver of Hector's chariot. Trojans and Achaeans fight for Gebriones' armor. Amid the chaos, Apollo sneaks up behind Patroclus and wounds him, and Hector easily finishes him off. Hector taunts the fallen man, but with his dying words, Patroclus foretells Hector's own death. Here we are in Book 16, lines 838 and 863. So, when Antilochus brings word to Achilles of Patroclus' death at the beginning of Book 18, Achilles loses control of himself. He whips and beats the ground with his fist and covers his face with dirt. He utters a terrible wrenching cry, so profound that Thetis hears him and comes with her water nymph sisters from the ocean to learn what troubles her son. Here we are in line 39. Achilles tells her of the tragedy and insists that he shall avenge himself on Hector, despite his knowledge that, should he choose to live the life of a warrior, he is fated to die young. Thetis responds that since Hector now wears Achilles' armor, she will have the divine metalsmith Hephaestus make him a new set, if Achilles will delay exacting his revenge for one day. In the Achaean camp, the men begin their mourning for Patroclus. Achilles has men clean Patroclus' wounds to prepare him for burial, though he vows not to bury him until he has slain Hector. Hephaestus forges a breastplate, a helmet, and an extraordinary shield embossed with the images of constellation, pastures, dancing children, and cities of men. And now we will go on with two other important books, book 22 and 24, so the last book of the Iliad. Okay, see you soon. Ciao.